question is, let's say we do sign him. He's only 26 right now, especially if we need help in the running back position because right now our starter is Myles Gaskin. Now, let's say we get Aaron Jones. Is he going to do those? He's going to do that production year like he did with Green Bay last season. He's going to turn that with Miami, with the new... E on the mic, episode 20. I'm your host, E, aka Ethan, back in the 4K formula, guys. Welcome to episode 20. I'm glad that you guys are here to watch me talk about the latest sports on the All-Star reserves, talk about my Heat going up to the All-Star break, the Dolphins, their free agency is coming up soon. Now, this is a solo episode, so this is going to be only me by myself today. The guy that had my guest was Trippy Betts. They cancel off on me, but best wishes for him on the new podcast that he just joined with. So appreciate that, and also stay tuned for Alcatraz Sports Network (ASN) coming soon. That's coming soon. That's not. I am joining with Jordan with that, and Hayden, Jared, Donnie, and many more in the upcoming. But stay tuned for that, which I'll be guest appearancing and going on Instagram Live more often there. So stay tuned for that. But let's get to the topics today. The All-Star reserves. Who was in the All-Star reserves and who I thought was a little bit snubbed. So let's start with the West. The West was originally Anthony Davis, but of course he's injured, so it's Devin Booker. Next, after Devin Booker, is Chris Paul. And after Chris Paul, we got Rudy Gobert at the third reserve. We got Donovan Mitchell at number 4. Got number 5, Damian Lillard, as I mentioned previously. Zion Williamson and Paul George. So just to look through those, I felt that Devin Booker was snubbed. He should have been there originally. I understand how Zion Williamson is doing a fantastic job this year. Although their team is still trying to catch up into the West, it still seems that Devin Booker somehow didn't make it in, which Chris Paul definitely would let Devin Booker, because you know how crucial he is with the Suns, especially the Suns are the 4th seed right now, especially with the West, especially when the Lakers are struggling right now without Anthony Davis. And it really showed from the Heat beating them on Saturday to them losing to Washington in overtime. So the Lakers are a bit struggling without Anthony Davis, and it just shows without Anthony Davis, the Lakers are legit nothing without them. So that's a very interesting thing going into the All-Star. Hopefully by next month or two, they'll definitely will have Anthony Davis back in the roster, which the season goes all the way to May this time. So that's going to be a very interesting point in take. But just kind of jump into the East. Who's the East reserves, you may ask? 2 Bostons, Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum. I understand for Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum, it's an iffy there for him, for his spot there, which I'll get to my Heat why they didn't make none in there. But that's 2 right there, I said already. James Harden is in there. So there's 3 Nets in the All-Star. So that's very interesting to take point in there. Then you got Nikola from the Magic. That's number 4. Zach LaVine, number 5. Ben Simmons. Ben Simmons looking much better than a rookie in the second year, don't you say? Ben Simmons has been doing fantastic for Philly, honestly, so he definitely deserves to be in that All-Star. And then Julius Randle for the Knicks. Let me just take a moment with Julius Randle. Julius Randle, no one thought the Knicks was going to be in the 7th seed as I'm talking right now. No one thought that Julius Randle was going to be putting up those numbers every night, going 20 points on average. It's mind-blowing to me. It's the Knicks are usually, early in the season, they start going high up, and then all of a sudden they start bleeding down. But no, they've just been consistently up there. The East is kind of Right now, the leader is the 76ers with 20 wins and 11 losses. And then it goes from that to then the 8th seed with 13 or 15, 17. It's kind of weird to the point where the division where the Heat's at, NBA Southeast, none of them are making the playoffs right now as I speak right now, currently. Thank goodness the season's not ending today, because that would be kind of awkward to have a division winner and not make the playoffs at all. So that's, but especially now since they're going to do the 7th seed, 8th seed, but to kind of think, so speaking to my Heat, or why I say snubs, Bam Adebayo, and then you got Jimmy Butler. I understand Jimmy Butler. Jimmy Butler didn't play too much this season because he had COVID almost a whole entire January, so I understand that point in time. But then when you look at Bam, Bam has been doing pretty well. I think he could have got in there. Then Jason Tatum. Yeah, I might be a little biased because I was a Heat fan, but I don't know. I just really feel that Bam got really snubbed there. Now, there was like a dunk contest, stuff like that, or things like that. I think he will definitely be in there, but it's kind of odd with the All-Star, though, at the same time, because the same thing is the NBA is just trying to get some money out of this, man. Like, you know how much they lost some revenue from last season due to COVID-19. It's just like, I still don't understand the All-Star, why it's still being played, and it's going to be Atlanta, Georgia, where this is going to take place, but I don't know. It just doesn't make any sense. For me, I wouldn't even play the All-Star. Just say who just deserves to be an All-Star, period, and then don't even play at all. Just appreciate that you got an All-Star chance. I understand like the experience is going to be very different than last year. Last year, it was like before COVID. It was like a month before everything started shutting down for the NBA and for the world, honestly. So it's different times, so I wouldn't even do the All-Star, but that was just my opinion, kind of make that kind of events, because notice how the NFL, for example, they did the Pro Bowl, but it was like online. They did like video games. They played Madden. You saw Marshawn Lynch in there. You see Kyle Murray in this room and making fun of him. Things like that. I think I would have seen that a little bit more than actually playing the All-Star game together. But then again, the NBA is trying to get some money out of this, so I understand their points in that. But going right back to the Heat, where they're at, since the last time I mentioned the Heat. When I mentioned the Heat, they just started the season. I thought they were going to beat the Magic the first game. That was a lie. The test concluded that was a lie. It just shows that Jimmy Butler is crucial for us, and that we finally got Dragic tonight as I'm recording this against Toronto. Last time I checked, we were winning by a few points, but the Heat right now, 14-17, they're in the 10th seed, which is good. It's any spot. We can jump from the 10th seed to the 7th seed, the way how the things are with the East right now, especially how our division is, like, everybody's right there, but one loss just depletes them down and down spiral. So the Heat right now are looking pretty good. They had impressive wins recently. The Lakers, they beat the Lakers the other day on the Saturday, and then they beat the OKC. So I'm feeling good about myself. I know Toronto had a 5-game winning streak up till the 76ers beat them yesterday as I'm recording this by 6 points to the leader 76ers. So for me right now, for the Heat, I think right now our schedule right now, we're playing Toronto tonight. Then we got to play against the Jazz, which is going to be very interesting because we got blown the roofs off from ourselves against the Jazz the last time we played it. And then we played the Hawks twice, and then the Pelicans to finish off for the first half of the season for the Heat. Where do I see my Heat when it comes to the final record? Right now we're 14-17. If we get the dub today, it's 15, and then we have 4 more games left. I think we can get up to 500. I think we can get like a little bit up to 500. I know we're going to lose the Jazz. I feel like we're going to lose the Jazz no matter what. Jazz are unbelievable regular season team. Now they got to prove that in the playoffs. But other than the Jazz, I think we should beat Toronto. I feel like we should beat the Hawks twice. And the Pelicans, we already played the Pelicans on the Christmas Day, so I'm hoping for another W there too. So in the end, I can see us losing another game out of the 5, but I can see a 4 out of 5 right there. I just feel right now with Jimmy Butler in there, I think right now, since Dragic's back, thankfully, because Kelly Olynyk was the starter, so I don't know. It's kind of tough. I wanted to get somebody in the trade, but I feel like we'd be losing too many pieces to get that, so it wouldn't work. I think the trade won't even work because we still got time to trade stuff. I know I've been hearing rumors about Hero trade and then Duncan Robinson, but at the same time, I I don't think the Heat's gonna trade at all. I really don't. I think at the end of the day, the Heat are just gonna go with the squad. I just still feel they're still missing that Jay Crowder. Jay Crowder leaving us to the Suns is crucial. That's why the Suns are doing very well, because they got Jay Crowder, like Chris Paul, Devin Booker. What more can you ask for the Suns? So the Suns are definitely making the playoffs, but for the Heat in the second half of the season, they just gotta keep consistently, just keep proving people, because everybody's been down in the Heat, saying, "Oh, that was just a fluke. They went to the finals. It was in the bubble. It was in the bubble. They were the 5th seed. They got lucky. The Bucks, come on. It was 2 games. And Giannis was out those games though. So, what happened to Toronto that other year of the playoffs? Exactly. And everyone thought the Boston was going to beat the Heat, and we beat them in the conference finals. So, what more can you ask about the Heat? I think the Heat can continue their winning streak, and I'm pretty sure they can get to the division. I know the only trouble I think the Heat will have is either the Hawks or the Hornets. I understand Washington is getting in their winning streak, and they're really hot fire with Russell Westbrook and Bradley Beal. I just don't think it's going to be enough for them to get close enough for the division, maybe to compete in like the 9th and 10th seed, to clinch the 8th seed, and then the 7th and 8th is probably going to be either. I feel like the Heat will place like 6th seed. Hopefully it'll be the 6th seed, not the 7th seed, because then we gotta play against that matchup, because there's only one matchup. If we get the 7th or 8th seed, it's only sudden death. Whoever wins that game clinches the 7th seed right there, and then the 9th and 10th seed gets in there with 2 wins. So it's best out of 3, pretty much. So it's gonna be crucial when it comes to the second half of the season for the Heat to get up there, so they don't have to play for sudden death and then get tired, and then they gotta play against either the Nets or the 76ers. So that's not a great thing, especially since we lost twice to the Nets this season. So I am not looking forward to play against the Nets. I'd rather play somebody else than the Nets, because right now the Nets are rolling. They are rolling. They just beat the whole entire West Coast. I'm like, damn, Nets. And that was even without KD, Kevin Durant. Like, damn, like, only Kyrie and James Harden. Now their defense is still horrendous. Still, we're not gonna talk about the Pistons game, how they lost to the Pistons that week ago, but still, Nets are unstoppable. So I really don't want to see the Heat play against the Nets in the playoff when the playoff time comes, because we're still missing that Jay Crowder. I just feel once the second season happens, I feel we'll keep bouncing more wins than losses than we appear to be, you know. I think that Jimmy Butler missing that January was very crucial for us, and I think that's why we kept depleting, because Jimmy Butler will take us however he will take us. Last year he took us to the finals in the bubble. We had a better mentality, and our shooters were shooting. Tyler Hero was shooting, Duncan Robinson was shooting, even Jay Crowder was shooting. And you got Andre Iguodala, Bam Adebayo, Jimmy Butler. So you had everybody rolling. So that's going to be the very crucial for us, for the Heat. And I think moving forward, we should have a better positive for the Heat. I just feel that in my circumstances as a Heat fan, and as a just being analyzing the game, how the Heat always play, how it will play in the Heat culture, and especially now the division is right now is kind of sucky, so it gives us a better opportunity to clinch it. Now to go far into the playoffs, I can't really say the finals. I'm gonna be honest. I don't know. Maybe we get to the second round. That's my highest hope right now. They just gotta show me more. I think they just gotta show me more to make me prove that, okay, they can get a conference final. Like I said last year when they were playing last year, I was like, okay, conference finals, it's a reach. That's a reach. I was surprised we even made it there. I was happy as heck. Everyone thought we were gonna sweat, which we lost that series, but 2 wins. Man, I should have bet though. Piggyback, I should have bet you with that. I'm like, there's too much money, and I already feel, if I place bets, nah, I already know if I place any bet, I'm already down the drain. There goes all my money, like that. Nope, Kevin, I can't even do that. But they did get 2 wins. But should I have done it? Probably. But the downside is every time I say yes, I'm like here, pressure the TV, like, oh God, please. Lord have mercy. Let me get just 2 wins. All right, 1. All right. Come on, Jimmy Butler. Game 5. Yes, let's go. But didn't happen. Unfortunately, it didn't happen. But that just covers the NBA right there. The All-Star will be tuning in March, so by the time I do start talking about basketball and football and basketball again, it'll be in 2 weeks from now when I bring in Bryson and Jonathan in 2 weeks from now. Shout out to them for reaching out to me, finding me rolling real on Instagram. That's a shocker. That's actually a shocker now that you find me there, you know. But speaking of football, since there were football players on my team, speaking of football, let's bring it to the Dolphins. How my Fins are in free agency right now. They're looking for a running back. They're looking for wide receivers. They're looking for a little bit of protection for Tua. Looking at some defensive style a little bit. I know we just signed Jason Sanders to a nice deal, which I think that was a great idea for Miami for a signing. He's been doing fantastic. It was pretty good this year until like announcers start jinxing him, and then he misses the field goal, misses the extra points. Like, shut up. It's not jinxing my team, man. He's been doing perfect, but like, don't keep saying, oh yeah, he's doing perfect. He's doing fantastic. I understand that. Shh, guidance it. Like, that's it. Just shush. But speaking of cap space for the Dolphins have $31.1 million to spend in free agency. I know I've been hearing some rumors about Aaron Jones with Miami, but the only thing is Aaron Jones is probably seeking $12 million a year, and knowing our cap space, it's a risk. But unless you're signing him for like a year or maybe 2, I wouldn't even touch Aaron Jones. I know he was a Pro Bowler with Green Bay Packers, which I loved him. I had him on my fantasy team, and he was good at most of the year. So the only question is, let's say we do sign him. He's only 26 right now, especially we need help in the running back position because right now our starter is Myles Gaskin. Now, let's say we do sign him. He's only 26 right now, especially we need help in the running back position because right now our starter is Myles Gaskin. Now, let's say we get Aaron Jones. Is he gonna do those? He's gonna do that production year like he did with Green Bay last season. He's gonna turn that with Miami. Now, let's say we get Aaron Jones. Is he gonna do those? He's gonna do that production year like he did with Green Bay last season. He's gonna turn that with Miami with a new offensive line, and can he do that as well? That's the main question. The thing I love about Aaron Jones is he can catch the ball and run after, because that's what I'm looking for Miami. Because what we're short of, we can run the ball, but when we throw to our running backs, we either catch it, which I'm not gonna disclaim Myles Gaskin. Myles Gaskin caught that ball for the Raiders game. That was fantastic. I loved him there. But knowing recent history with the Dolphins, they get running backs, and then the running back can only run. They can't catch the ball, and then they do, they get a few yards there and then, you know. But I would love the signing of Aaron Jones, but at what cost is the only question I have. That's the only issue what I have with Aaron Jones. But let's say we don't get a running back, we get a wide receiver free agency. I know some people say, oh, look, we can get Allen Robinson or Juju Smith. Only thing is, I know Allen Robinson wants to get a big contract, and then you got Juju wants to be a Steeler, and if he doesn't be with the Steelers because of their cap space and all that, I don't know if he's going to come to Miami and with what price, because I know he's going to be pricey and we don't got that money where it was like $100 million. It's not like we're like the Patriots right now where they actually have cap space to get some pieces there, but right now we have $34 million, right? But we're still banking with that draft picks that we get from Houston, which hopefully we do not get that Watson trade. If we get that Watson trade, leave me alone with that, like Watson. What is this? We give Tua away, give Xavier Howard? Are you crazy? Xavier Howard? And then originally their original first round, give it right back to them, and our 18 overall, and maybe next year. No. Out of here with that. Out of here. Carolina can do all that. They can just trade away Teddy, McCaffrey, Robinson, their 3 first round. Just forget Watson. They can do all that. That's what they most likely they head to the Panthers. Because the Panthers just want to destroy their team. That's all. But kind of flinging it back to Miami with the wide receivers a little bit. So I mentioned Allen Robinson, and then I mentioned Juju. Now I don't want those players. Now the players I kind of a little bit interested more of is Marvin Jones. I know Marvin Jones wants to kind of link up with Matthew Stafford with Los Angeles Rams, but you gotta think about it too. did pretty well. He got 776 yards last season. I would love to see him. And then you got the native T.Y. Hilton as a free agent from FIU, which is not too far from here. And I would love to see T.Y. Hilton too. I know he's kind of aging a bit. I know he's not the same primetime T.Y. Hilton, but we need some a little bit adjustments a little bit there to help Parker out there, because then our wide receivers, like as I mentioned again, Preston Williams is injured. Jakeem Grant got injured, but Jakeem Grant is a speedy wide receiver. He's great on the kick returns. The only things I have issues with is when he's receiving. I understand it was the third option, but and then after that, you don't got really much. You got Malcolm Perry there, Mac Hollins, and our tight ends, which are fantastic tight ends, which I think we should not get any tight ends unless like try to see there and there for third spot, fourth spot. But our tight ends are solid. Like the trade we got from Chicago, they're in mid-season or near the beginning of the season. That was the great trade right there, because he was very valuable with the block and with the catch, with the touchdown. So that was very crucial for us. Thank goodness we did that trade, and we just gave him a 6th round, which that was a great deal for us because we signed him for another year or two. And then Mike Gesicki, great tight end. He's finally showing me that Penn State look. Finally. Which I expect him to keep doing that the next season. I think we finally found our tight end, because we've been looking for tight ends, and good Lord, we have Thomas. Thomas. Yikes. Julius Thomas. My gosh. What a waste of a contract right there. To me, as a Miami Dolphin fan, like, that was a waste of a contract. Joe Philbin around Gates era. Oh my gosh. Leave me alone with those errors. I love the Brian Flores error, man. I love it. But I think that's what Miami should do. They should either get a running back or wide receiver, not go too spendy. And then if they don't get those two, I'll just get an O-line maybe from free agency, and then bank more on the draft this season and drafting the right pieces for, let's say, for wide receiver, which hopefully Devontae Smith. But if they're not, they get Jamar Chase. I wouldn't mind either of those two. I'll be happy with both of them. At the end of the day, whoever it is, I prefer more Devontae Smith, as I mentioned before. And then you got to think about O-line. It's either O-line for me or running back. I just feel more O-line, just protecting Tua a little bit more. Just kind of add another piece in there, another young piece in there. Or maybe somewhere in the D-line or safety. I think that's where we're trying to, because I know from cap space, we're trying to cut out cap space, and there's a lot of players that need to be cut. And those cap space make some room, so we might get a couple there from draft or free agency. So that's where I know for Miami is right now for free agency, and looking more into the draft. I think we're just gonna look more into the draft, but we're gonna make a little bit more cap space, so maybe we can get Aaron Jones, like I mentioned earlier. Who knows? But speaking of the NFL latest news, talk about Big Ben. Big Ben coming back to Pittsburgh. Now, everyone's saying it's a big problem that Big Ben's coming back. I can understand why, because he was depleting. In the beginning of the season, he looked fantastic. Near the end, looked like, what the heck am I looking at? He was giving a turnover machine day to the Cleveland Browns, which Bano Payne-Doe was so happy about, which I know he knows how much I love messing around with his Browns and stuff like that. Every time I say something just a little bit, man, this man about talking for like 2 minutes, a speech about how the Browns are legit and they won 7 championships before the actual Super Bowl era even began, which doesn't make any sense. But I know Payne's gonna look at this clip and he's just gonna go off of me. But anyways, back to the main point, what I was trying to say. So Big Ben, he looked depleted. I still say he can play another year. How he's gonna play, that's gonna be determined since the Pouncey brothers have retired. So he's gonna deal with a new center, some new pieces in there. They may have Juju back, they may not. So it's gonna be determined. And then Pittsburgh doesn't really have a true backup quarterback that can say, okay, this is the next Big Ben for us. Mason Rudolph is not the answer, not at all. And then their other quarterbacks, not even close. So it's gonna be tough for them. I think Big Ben can come back. He can try it, but I think it's gonna be a farewell season. I don't really see too much. I really don't see too much unless I get some like Alex Smith, which just be crazy talk. But I don't know. I think they're gonna ride with Big Ben one more year, and then Big Ben's gonna ride off to the sunset. The way if he starts depleting, the beginning of the season, that's it. That's, you already know Big Ben's gone. I just feel that for next season, if Big Ben does that, he's done. I don't think he will go back to Super Bowl. If he is, he got 2 rings. So he did something for Pittsburgh. But is he gonna do something next year? I don't think so. I really don't. But talk about contracts and 3 years in the making. Dak Prescott is trying to get filing his money from Jerry Jones Cowboys. Now, should they franchise tag him before the deadline? Man, this is a tough one. I think so, but at the same time, no, because if you're giving him back the franchise tag, it's not gonna look pretty for him. He's not gonna be happy. I understand he kind of hurt himself by getting injured against the Giants game, which that was gruesome right there, and kind of caused him to trade his contract talks. But the money he's asking for, like, that was willing to pay him, but it's just the price he's asking for was kind of like the Mahomes money, Aaron Rodgers. It's gonna be tough to even get that contract, and at the end of the day, will either stay with Andy Dalton or they have Dak Prescott, one or two. I just feel Jerry Jones, as long as he's still the manager, GM/owner there, I think he's going to go with his gut and say, nah, I'm not going with Dak. Dak can go somewhere else with his money, and I'm going to stick my way Andy Dalton and have the 3 caliber starting wide receivers that I have, Amari Cooper and, CeeDee Lamb. It's going to be tough. It's very tough to be a Dallas Cowboy, for any Dallas Cowboys listening to me right now with this take. It's going to be tough. You might see Dak, you might not. He might leave you. He might go to the 49ers out of all places. That would be the most craziest thing, to see Dak go to the 49ers and 49ers somehow become contenders again. I'm just saying, Jimmy G is not the answer, and I know the 49ers are going with Jimmy G. I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't do it. But to answer that question, to finalize it, I think Dak should get his money. I think he should, but at the right price, because they've been doing this for 3 years in the making. My gosh. But thank you guys for listening to E on the Mic episode 20. I really do appreciate you guys so much. And if you guys can do me a favor, just enjoy this video, love it, share it to your friends and family. If you do enjoy this, like, subscribe. If you didn't, you don't have to. But coming next video, I have Daylon coming into the podcast, coming from Dayton, Ohio. So until then, I'll see you guys later. Peace.